I'm Grim, and this is your Grim Dispatch for the afternoon of December 19th. And here's the question that matters most now that the shooter has been found. Were these victims chosen, or were they simply the ones who crossed paths with a man who has already decided what he was going to do? The Brown University shooter was found dead in a New Hampshire storage unit, ending a manhunt that stretched across 2 states. But the story doesn't begin with the discovery of his body, it begins with the people whose lives were taken before he ever fled Rhode Island. 2 Brown students were shot while preparing for finals. Hours earlier, an MIT professor was murdered in his office. 3 lives, 2 campuses, and 1 suspect. A question that investigators still hasn't answered. Were these attacks targeted, or were they opportunistic? Some believe the victims were chosen deliberately, and others believe they were simply present in spaces the shooter could access. What we know for certain is this: the victims weren't random to the people who loved them. They weren't statistics. They were individuals living their lives inside institutions that assumed danger was something that happened somewhere else. And that assumption shaped everything that followed. Brown's buildings were open, the doors were unsecured, coverage was patchy, the shooter moved through the campus without resistance, and left without resistance, and crossed state lines before the university even understood what happened. Law enforcement did its job, fast, focused, and effective, but the first minutes of this crisis were shaped by an institution that wasn't prepared for the world outside its gates. So, were these victims targeted, or were they simply exposed? Right now, the only thing we know for certain is this: the victims never got a choice, and the shooter ran out of places to hide once the world finally caught up to what he'd done. This is your Grim Dispatch.